Facebook friends? It's Carolyne Rodrigues coming to you from beautiful Fort Myers, Florida. It's Monday, Momentum Mondays. I'm so excited to be here. This is my first series that I'm going to be doing every Monday at, noon Eastern time. So, hey Steve, nice to see you. Welcome. And as I do this series every Monday, thoughts come to me and I'm thinking, what can I share with my Facebook audience? And so Steve, right now it's you. Anyhow, there's Ann. Hey Ann, beautiful Ann, welcome. And Joe, nice to see you. I love Fort Myers too, and Catherine. So guys, as you come on here, this is one of my, I decided that I'm going to step out in courage and share some of the things that I feel that will benefit some of the people who are listening, because like many people out there, hey Ann, thank you. Hey Debbie, good morning. There's so many people that I come across that are struggling, and this weekend I happened to be talking to a very good friend of mine who is in a place where she doesn't understand how she got there. So what is this Facebook message all about? Hey Denise, it's what do you do when you come up empty? Hey Emily, nice to see you. What do you do when you come up empty? And many of us have been in this place, right? Any of you been in that place where you come up empty and you're thinking, what do I do? How did I get here? What happens when things, when life goes off the rails, right? Well, the last thing I think, hey Glenn, the last thing I think most people would expect is a miracle, right? Would you be expecting a miracle when things are falling by the wayside and you're in the trough of life? Well, part of, and I wanted to share my story with you, is this is where I was 14 years ago, where life was completely off the rails for me. I was 49 years old. I had worked for an airline for God knows how many years. My husband was the president of his company. Things were going well. We were living in a wonderful place. My health was starting to, become a little rocky, right? So imagine a flight attendant traveling the globe. Life was off the rails for me in terms of my health. So that was my first place of my starting point. But at the same time, I'm like, how did I get here? I'm 49 years old and I have back cleavage. Anybody relate? Yeah, give me a heart if you can relate, ladies. The dreaded three-way mirror, and you go, wow, how did that happen? But some other life events were happening for me as well. My father was ill. Hey, Katrin, how are you? My father was dying of cancer, guys, and it was a tough time for me. And my husband had got the wonderful news that his job was terminated. So we were not in a good place. My life was off the rails. So what did I do? Well, I surrendered. I thought, okay, my way is not working. So I was listening to Pastor Rick Warren today, and I want to bring you some of his thoughts. Hey, Trish. And he said, you know what? When David slew Goliath, he had to first walk out onto the battlefield. When Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, they had to go through the Red Sea. So what's your battlefield? What's your Red Sea? So if you're in a place where things are being taken away from you, maybe it's your job, maybe it's your health, maybe, it's the loss of a loved one, maybe you have a sick parent or a sick sibling or a loved one who's not doing well. This is where you're being tested. Hey, Jeff, you're being tested. And, for me, the answer was surrendering to the Almighty, right? Because he was preparing me to come through a place where that wasn't working for me. He was preparing me to move to a better place. And as Rick Warren, this stuck with me when he said that this morning. We don't change when we see the light. We change when we feel the heat. So if any of you were feeling the heat, you know what this is like, right? So sometimes we have to move through adversity in order to get to a better place in our lives, right? So if you look back, hey Pat, good morning. If you look back and you see what are those places of adversity that you've been in that you came through, right? Because we were tested. And so you're being prepared to develop that character. You're being prepared to be stronger, to be a better person, to be an example to other people of possibility. That's my hashtag. It's possible. Hey, Cheryl. So what do you do when you're scared to death? And so this message is for a particular friend of mine that I've been talking to this morning, right? Yes, Pat, without rain, there are no rainbows. So I wanted to share this with you guys, right? What do you do when you're scared to death and you don't know how to move forward? Well, 3 things, okay? 1, expect a miracle, right? Expect a miracle. The path to a miracle is always through uncomfortable territory. So your miracle, your transformation, it's rarely going to happen when you're in a comfortable place. Hey Marjorie, how are you? It's not going to happen when you're comfortable and everything is going along tickety-boo. It's in that place where you're like, how did I get here, right? So you are in that place where it's like a caterpillar getting ready to transform into that butterfly, right? So 1, understand that you're going to be uncomfortable. 2, the source of a miracle is always unexpected. Okay, so when my miracle came, it arrived in a little brown box. That's not what I was looking for. I had been praying for an answer. Hey, Christina, nice to see you. I've been praying for an answer, and I thought, is this it? A little brown box. But I stood in faith and I said, all right, if this is it, I'm going to pay attention. And that little brown box changed my life. So the source of your miracle may not come in the way that you're expecting it. And so for me, it required that I surrender my way of doing things and give it up. Give it up to who? For me, it was give it up to God. It may be the universe. It may be source. I don't know what it is for you, but it's going to require that you think differently and you surrender the struggle. So if you're in a place of struggle, surrender. And the last thing, point number 3 is, and this is interesting because it's from God. He sent me CPR. CPR, what does that stand for, right? In life, when we're in a place where we need something, sometimes we need to be shocked out of it. We need CPR. And so CPR also happens to stand for my initials, Carolyne Patricia Rodrigues. So I thought this was interesting. So what does the C stand for? The C stands for the command, right? What is the command that you're receiving that you're not listening to? The P stands for the promise. Whenever you ask, it shall be given, right? I particularly love Philippians 4. Ask and you shall receive. There's no point in worrying because worrying doesn't do anything. Worrying doesn't bring any answers. Worrying all it does is unproductive. Sorry for the phone in the background, you guys. So P stands for the promise and standing in faith. I had to stand in faith in spite of my current circumstances, which looked like my life was going down the tubes. And the last, initial CPR, R stands for the risk. And some of you are going to have to take a risk. That unexpected source that came to you, you may be questioning it and you just have to say yes, right? And I'm so glad that I said yes because I didn't know where else to go. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys today and say that, when you're in this place where things are not working out for you, you've tried everything that you can and life is just, you think, is this all there is? And that was the question that I was asking. Is this all there is? And I knew that I was put on this earth to do something more than fly around the globe and serve bad food. That was what I did as a flight attendant, right? So here I am 14 years later. Hey, Evelyn. Evelyn was one of my mates that I flew around the world, right? So here I am today, 14 years later. I'm still standing in that miracle. Life is in a totally different place. And I really feel compelled to step out and share some of the things that have worked for me that perhaps you are looking for. So those are just my thoughts for today, you guys. This is, as I say, the first of my Monday midday live shares. So we're going to call it Momentum Monday. So if you're anywhere on Facebook, somewhere, wherever you are in the world at noon Eastern time. I'll be coming to you with some thoughts and ideas. And if this helped you, just, give me a shout out, give me a thumbs up on Facebook. And if you know somebody who's in a place where they really need a little helping hand, a place where they just need a little light, they're going down the rabbit hole and they're saying, hey, I need some help. Well, feel free to share this message. And I look forward to seeing all of you beautiful faces here next Monday at noon Eastern time. Bye-bye.